Okay, John 1:10-18. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who received him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision or husband's will, but born of God. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. John testifies concerning him. He cries out, saying, "This was he of whom I said, he who comes after me has surpassed me, because he was before me." From the fullness of his grace we have all received one blessing after another. For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, but God the one and only, who is at the Father's side, has made.
I want a man to make note of this. Nowhere in the Old Testament do you find the words God the Father. Nowhere. It's important. Some say they are finding it hard to accept this because they look at the Old Testament as the old man doing his thing, and in the New Testament it's Jesus doing his thing. But we aren't introduced to the Father until we get to the New Testament. Listen to me carefully. Old Testament, you'll never find the words God the Father. Look it up. We don't see God the Father until we get to the New Testament. Now, there are a number of things that I could say. There are 3 things that a guy ought to do to be a good father. Number 1, he ought to be a good preacher. Every man is a priest of his own household. Every man.
Amen. Amen.
Now, before you tell them what's wrong, you gotta know what's right first.
Yeah. Well, preach fast.
You gotta know what's right. You gotta do what's right. Then you say what's right. You don't just told. Every man, every Christian man is priest of his own household. You ought to be a good preacher. Now sometimes women pretend they ain't listening. Go on, let them pretend. But they listening. And if they ain't listening, tell them anyway. Because they'll come back to you and say, you said so. Be guilty, and it ain't always be popular. But be guilty of being a good priest. Tell them so, whether they listen or not. Number 2, you ought to be a good provider. Number 1, you the priest. Number two, you're a good provider. Now look at all took Jacob, all them years. How many years? 14, 21. Took him a long time to provide. But he was a good provider, and he didn't take off till he had plenty to take care of his family. Any man that's not a priest of his own household, you ain't a father, you're a daddy. But you ain't a father. You choose to be a father. Tell him what's wrong, but also provide. Now today, you ain't providing. You ain't no father. Provide. Number three, protect. All right, you made a good point. Protect. You got to be around to protect. Look at the lineup of Jacob. You got to do your own reading. I ain't got that kind of time. I ain't got that kind of voice. Look at the lineup. Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin was at the very back. Very back. He had all of his provisions, all of his wives, and his 12 sons up front. The ones he really cared about, talking about Bible times now. The ones he really cared about, he had them in the very back. Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin, very back. He was protecting them. He didn't know what Esau was going to do. He didn't know what the arrows were going to do. But he protected his loved ones. If you are protecting your family, you ain't a father. You're a daddy. You made the baby. You're a sperm donor. But you ain't a daddy. A father. A father. A father protects his family.